we've built, so any guys that are following like all the major entrepreneur influencers, like there's this dream out there that if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to live the dream, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to have the, the swag and all the stuff that I might be pursuing in life or that I'm elevating. Because if we look at the shiny boxes like on Instagram, right, it's all about this status that everyone's chasing, right? This title and all the stuff that comes with it. And we're also in the age of an online entrepreneur, which you do with e-commerce. And, we have a lot of experience over here in my house with my wife and myself. And when I was doing it, it was retail. It wasn't like this glamorous thing. It was sitting in in one of my stores was in a mall, and I'd be there till 9:30 at night. And it was long hours, and it was customer service. It was doing all the stuff. But the first thing that I've learned is whatever season you're in life, I learned a lot in that season. So I was looking at it like training. When I first took the job, not the job, when I first started the company, I partnered with a family member who was already really successful. So I was like, oh, this is going to be inevitable. This is going to be living the dream. And we had to build it up, and it wasn't exactly what I thought. And I had to put in a lot of man hours, a lot of work, and I learned a lot. And I maximized that time along the way to say, hey, this is like business school. This is school. And then eventually, when I knew it was time, and I was, married at the time, and I was looking for the next chapter in life, and some different circumstances, which pushed us into this next opportunity, which really was the Lord opening a door. It wasn't hard. It came with a lot of excitement for me because I was newly married. We were moving, and the type of position I took was a sales representative position in New York City, and it basically was like entrepreneurship, only they're going to give me a company car. They're going to give me a budget that I can use. They're going to say, hey, here's all your customers, and then go figure it out and come back and make sure that you meet your goals and exceed your goals. So I came into that corporate environment with the mindset of an entrepreneur, and I ran my sales territory like its own business. And that led to my success. So what we find is in the corporate environment, any environment, people go stale, people go lame, and you find people just kind of check in and do the minimum, like gravity in life, right? After a while, same thing going to the gym. You can just go there and you know someone right now that's been in the gym the whole time you've been there, and their body never changes. They're just kind of going in and checking boxes. And that's not what I did when I came into the corporate environment. I worked it like an entrepreneur. I said, this is such an incredible opportunity. And that work ethic, the right behaviors, the right performance that followed led to my promotion.
Yeah. And so, what were those things from entrepreneurship that were most helpful in the corporate environment? Like, what were the things that you had to experience and grow through as an entrepreneur that translated the most to sales in a corporate environment?
Yeah, well, since this is the Discipline HQ podcast, let's first talk about fitness, right? Because I can't tell this journey without sharing like how fitness has been a part of my life. So I'm going to start with that foundation first, because I was always into working out and developing the discipline and the structure of just learning how to show up and do something, whether you feel like it and even when you don't feel like it, when you're seeing results and when you're not seeing results, when you want to stay in bed and you still roll out and you got to get to the gym and do what you're supposed to do. So those elements, and this is why it's so important what you're doing here, Corey, is highlighting the disciplined lifestyle with your apparel, with the show, with what you're about, is because that's the backbone, and that's the structure for any kind of success in life, having that structure. So building that structure and then taking that into entrepreneurship to make sure you're on time, to make sure you have great customer service, to see the business, so specifically on your question, see everything with a macro lens, like understanding my profit margins, understanding inventory and what I had, and if someone wanted something, and if I didn't have it, and how would I get it, and just managing my books, and then taking that approach over into corporate to say, I'm not an employee. I'm not going to look at myself that way. I'm going to look at myself as a manager. I'm going to look at myself as an entrepreneur. I'm going to bring this entrepreneurial mindset, which I think is a biblical mindset. So let's introduce the word here, stewardship, right? So I'm stewarding my body and fitness. I'm stewarding my business when I was an entrepreneur. And now I'm stewarding another man's business in the corporate environment, but I'm stewarding it as if it's my own. And we operate as believers with this principle of stewardship, which is everything we're managing doesn't really belong to us, but we're called to be good stewards of it. And my definition of stewardship is to manage and multiply. We see this in the parable of the talents. The landowner says, okay, here's the talents that I'm giving you. And he expects not just give it back to me when I come back, he expects a return on investment. So there's management, but there's also multiplication. So then how do I manage and multiply? And that's the mindset that I take into everything I do now.